Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by three-time best-selling author Troy Horne. Troy has sold over 287,000 books. He's competed as a Star Search contestant and on NBC Sing Off, and his mission is to help people over 40 live their dreams. So we're going to be talking to him about everything that he's up to. So Troy, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. This is fun. I'm excited.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I mean, you did a great, great job there. But let's see. I'm a father. I'm an author. Um, and my big thing, in this second part of life is really helping other people in their 40s really rediscover that power that we had or that have, and I've always had when we were younger. We thought, we had power, but now we actually do. So my hope is to help more people kind of awaken themselves to their greater yet to be's. I've been on Star Search as a kid. I toured the world as a musician, I signed record deal, and opened for Steve Miller and Government Mule back in the day. I sung on Monday Night Football as an a cappella singer. I've been on Broadway as a lead in the Broadway show Rent. I started my own multiple businesses. So hopefully I will help people see that, you don't have to be anything special to do stuff. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I used to watch Star Search as a kid, so kind of
Hey.
tell us about that, how you got into that, and also about the NBC Sing Off and the Monday Night Football.
Star Search, man, that was fun. It's funny because if you're on any type of social media in your age, they feed us those nostalgic videos of the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. So, anyways, what I'm gonna say is I was at home. I was a kid in high school, and they ran a commercial probably in between. I don't know. That's My Mama and some other show, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, it's in my town." It's like we gotta go. I gotta go do this audition. So my mom, man, my mom drove down there with me so that we'd make sure that we wouldn't, I guess, get scammed or anything else that you worry about as a 16, 17-year-old kid going to an audition. And plus, I couldn't sign for anything because I was too young. So she needed to be there to sign if I were going to do anything. Anyways, I walked down there, sing this song, "I Just Called to Say I Love You" by Stevie Wonder. Hopefully that people know that, remember that song. I did it with a little one of those. You guys remember those? You remember those little brass old fashioned phones that we used to have with the cord and all that stuff, really heavy.
Yep, I remember. The rotary phone where you got to stick your finger in each
Yes,
number.
sir. Yes, yes. So I brought one of those down, down to my audition, and used that as a prop. Here's tip number one: if you are ever auditioning, don't bring your own props. But I didn't know anyway, so I did use my own prop and sang. And a couple weeks later, they invited me to do the show in Orlando. They flew me out, and I had a great time. It was fun. It was good.
Well, tell us about how you got on NBC Sing Off and how you got to do some a cappella on Monday Night Football.
Oh wow! Well, NBC's a sing off. That was actually, I was singing in a group called the House Jacks, and one of the guys in the group by the name of Deke Sharon. Deke was like one of the producers for the show, and one of the groups actually in Denver needed a bass singer, and I sing bass, so he was like, "You want to come in and audition with them?" And so it was a situation where it pays to know the right people. I went and auditioned and sang with them, and we ended up going through all the way to the end, which is really cool. Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing there. Three-time best-selling author,
Yes, sir.
287,000 books. Tell us how you got into writing.
The funny thing is, getting into writing for me was I was trying to find a book for my kid. So um, he plays basketball. I was gonna say he played, but he plays basketball. And as a young kid, it's funny because in the world of youth sports, there's a lot of just well, in the world of anything that's competitive, there's a lot of mental strength that needs to go with that. And I couldn't find any books that were written for kids, or any books that kind of spoke to kids. I mean, they were all like adult stuff, and they were all, adults talking to adults. So I thought, hey, if I want him to get this message, I'm gonna have to create this because no one else is or has. So I wrote a book for with and for him about mindset and mental toughness and stuff like that. And we based it off of a podcast, which we started in the beginning before we started writing the book, just asking other professional athletes what they did for their preparation and for their mindset and stuff like that. We were able to interview like Chauncey Billups and Jason Richardson and even Kobe Bryant there at the end, which was really cool. John Lucas, a lot of great people, and they kind of gave us the mentality part of the game and of all sports, really. And so we put it in a book in a way that it relates to youngsters and their parents, and that's how we got started. That's how this book thing kind of happened. Really trying to help people with things that I struggled with, and we had some figuring out or figure some stuff out. So hopefully, it's helping other people with their youngsters, figure it out as well. So that's the whole book writing
Well,
thing.
talk about how those lessons from elite athletes can transfer over to everyday people.
Oh, you know what I learned about one? It's like a lot of people think that their situation is a what's the word? An isolated or a specific or a special situation compared to other things. And I say from being in entertainment and then watching this youth sports thing and then also being in business, all things are basically the same deal. And that means you need to one, be confident, believe in yourself. Two, work really hard. Three, be very honest with what you need to work on and what you're good at. And then have great relationships with people. Be kind to people. Help people, especially when you don't need anything. You know, help people just because you want to help people. And it's just something about that energy you put out there. It always returns to you. So yeah, with sports, it was like really understanding those things, like using training your mind, visualizing things, calming your mind with meditation, um you know just using a lot of the things that we talk about in the book and that a lot of pro athletes showed us um in our podcast interviews, which is really cool.
Well, talk about how, you talk about your second half of life and what you're
Mm,
doing. So when you're starting something later in life, how do you manage to stay motivated and creative?
wow. So here's a fun thing about starting things later in life. The mental part is still, like we talk about with sports, is still a big part of it. The thing that we unfortunately, for whatever reason, have been told is that after 30 or 40 or whatever, you should not be trying to do new things, that you should be set in whatever. And so again, just like the other one, I wrote a book and I went through the steps that I write about in the book to kind of help me get past the messaging that's very prevalent out there that says that you're supposed to be done after 40 or 50. There's a lot of bad messaging out there, and I was like, well, I can't find a book that's not saying this, so I'm going to write it. And let me explain to you something that I learned on this path of doing the steps that I talk about in this book. And that is one, at 40, you actually know the things that you thought you knew when you were 20. You actually have the information and the wisdom. And in many cases, you have the resources or the resourcefulness to actually execute on those things. You actually know where to go or who to call or how to work with or without, money to get to where you need to go. And three is like we have the expertise, the resources, and the ability to do all the things that we thought we could do when we were 20. So I think this is the perfect time to start something new. The biggest part is getting out of our own way and giving ourselves permission to do that, I believe.
Well, if you could leave the listeners one message
Mm.
when it comes to passion and purpose, what would that message be?
If you have any inkling, vision, idea, or desire to do something that you haven't done before, that you are like, that I would really love to, you know, own a restaurant or start a business or start a podcast or write a song. If it ever came to you as an idea, it is meant for you to do. The only thing that you need to do is give yourself permission to do it, give yourself the push through to make it happen. But if you have, like, if you can see it in your mind, or if you have seen it in your mind, it is meant for you. So your job now is to walk in faith, as they say, trusting yourself and your abilities, and manifest this thing, this vision that you have in your mind. So go do that. I'm giving. If you don't need permission, I'm giving you permission to go do do that right now.
Oh, you want to talk to the listeners about all your books, just kind of give a brief description, tell us what we can expect when we read them and where to get them.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. So there's mental toughness for young athletes, and that's for families that have kids who are in competitive sports. Now, here's the thing: there's a difference between competitive sports and recreational sports. And so it's really for kids that are in families that are in competitive sports or travel sports or things of that nature. So that's mental toughness for young athletes. That's on Amazon. You can find it there. It also has its own website, mentaltoughnessforyoungathletes.com. So you can go there. And then, secondly, for the parents or for people that are over 40, and this is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm in this moment because I actually just came through the process that I'm right about in that book. And that is called middle management. And that is actually before you, I have a free download that I would like to give to people to help them just get started. And to get the free download, all they need to do is go to middlemanagement.bio. That's middlemanagement.bio. And you can get a free download to begin, to get you on the beginning of that rediscovering of yourself after 40. Obviously, there's also troyhorne.com. That's TROYHORNE.com, where you can also connect with me. But middlemanagement.bio is a free resource that I like to give to all the people over 40 that are looking to start their second half with something exciting. Yeah.
Okay, well, tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on that listeners need to be aware of.
Yeah, no, middle management is the one. That's the one that's my current project. That's the one that is my big thing in this moment. And so I would say, check that out if that's something that resonates with you, because that's the one that I'm very focused on in this moment.
Okay, well, leave us with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to talk about that you would like to touch on, or any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
Yeah, Curtis, it's like for me, I would like to say this one thing, and this is something you learn, I think, when you get as you get older. It's like procrastination, fear, doubt, and uncertainty of your abilities is based on something that we all fall victim of, and that is the idea or belief that we have this unlimited amount of time. We all believe on some level that we have the next 5 minutes, next hour, next 10 minutes, next month, next day. And the one thing I've learned is that, and that's it's funny. I got this from a, a YouTube video or an Instagram video from Cat Williams, which, of all people, which is very funny. He said, every night when you go to bed, if you can tell yourself, that was it. If I don't wake up, I did the things I need to do. I'm grateful for the time I had. As I go to sleep, that was it. And then if you wake up the next day, go, this is it. Everything I need to do, I need to be about doing that or moving towards that today, because I know tonight I'm going to say, that was it. He said, if you can do that, it will change your life. And I am an example of yes. If every night when you go to bed, you go, this was it. And when you wake up, you go, this is it will change your life. So I would encourage people to look into doing that, or at least trying that exercise as they go about their life and their day to day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, visit middlemanagement.bio, get that free download, troyhorne.com. Check out Troy's books and everything that he's up to and gonna be up to.
Yes, sir.
Follow, rate, and share this episode to as many people as possible. And for more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. And Troy, thank you for all that you do to make the world a better place. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do. Thank you. This is great.
For more information on the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, visit www.curveball337.com. Until next time, keep living the dream.